very good afternoon to everyone on frequency. A very good morning, a good afternoon, and good evening. We have quite a long list today, and we wish to welcome everyone on frequency to the worldwide net of our DATV satellite group. Firstly, we wish to thank the AMSAT DL Corporation for assisting us in getting the satellite on the air. We also wish to thank AMSAT United Kingdom and of course the Qatar Satellite Company for making this all available to us. Without their help, this would never have been available to amateur radio operators. Today we have a wide range of people joining us. We've got Balu, VU2RTF in India. We have Martin, G4FKK. Well, he's mobile in the UK. He might only come on a bit later, but he is watching on the stream. We have Martin, G8KOE in the UK, who's going to give us a nice little video on amateur satellite repeaters, in the UK. Then we have Bert, Papa Alpha 3 Alpha Oscar Delta in Holland. Then we have Zvi, 4 Zulu 1 Zulu Victor, who is in Israel. He's been camping out in the desert. It's quite an interesting clip he can show us. We have Mike, Golf 0 Mike Juliet Whiskey in the UK. And we have Nick, G4IMO in the UK. And happy birthday to you today, Nick. We have Tom, ZR6 Tango Golf in South Africa. We have Leon, ZS1 Mike in South Africa. Leon will be talking about a radar station he has at home. Only 10 kilowatt, low power. And then we have Frank, DD0CW in Germany, going to say hi. I don't know who else is on. I know Donald will be on. Donald Garland down in the UK. In South Africa. And hello, Peter, Papa Alpha 3 Echo Tango Kilo. He's I think, in Holland. And let me just see, there's Mike. Yeah, so those are basically the stations we have today. We also wish to welcome the many viewers on the live stream. And some will be watching tonight, like Sandor. So we look forward to building it out. As I've mentioned earlier to Frank, this is a worldwide net. Even if you come in and say, hello, I'm from France or whatever, it's nice to get that fellowship and the group of amateurs around the globe, wherever we have coverage, of course. So, Balu, if you can start getting your engines running. Victor Uniform 2 Radio Tango Foxtrot in India to take it from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India from South Africa. Might be a bit of technical problems, but we'll call you in a bit later, Balu. You get your story sorted. I think Martin is in his car. It's his wife's birthday coming up, but they're having the celebrations today. So he's ferrying ladies to and fro. So he might not be at his station. So let's just have a look, give him a turn. Golf 4 Fox Kilo Kilo. Are you on frequency, Martin? ZS6 Yankee India. Then we have Golf 8, King of England. Golf 8, King of England. Martin, if you are ready to take it, you take you over, and then let's have a look at that nice video on repeaters. Golf 8, Kilo Oscar Echo from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Looks as though we've made it. Just listen to see that we've got a bit of sound coming back. Let's kill that this end. And I think this is a first for me on the net. A bit shiny, sorry about that. The lighting is catching all my worst bits. The thing on repeaters is going back in time, basically. I used to live in Brighton in Sussex in the UK, and we started up a repeater group called the Worthing Repeater Group, and we moved eventually from Worthing through to Brighton, where I set up a number of repeaters. To give you an idea of how we started off, let's see if I can find a picture. It's easy when you're doing it when you're not actually talking, but let's chunk over to this one. This is the first equipment we started off with, and as you can probably see on the right hand side is a ZX81, and this was located in Worthing. On 23 sens, it didn't work terribly well, wasn't the best of locations, but we got the repeater up and operational. From there, we moved to, let's find picture number 2, across to a site in Brighton on the hospital. You can probably see a picture behind, but I'll enlarge that in a minute. That was located on the sort of nursing quarters as such, and to get to it, you had to go up the main stairs, and there was a little landing area, and you had to take this wooden ladder off of the wall, and there was a little hatchway right up in the ceiling, and that was higher than you'd want to. So this rickety ladder you would put up and you'd hook, and these 2 hooks that were there, and you'd climb up to get through the hatchway, and that's where that was located. And directly beside it was the lift. So you were sitting right by these cables. So health and safety never came. Oh, something over there. Yeah, health and safety never came into things in in those days. So those are the nasty. You could have put your fingers there, no problem at all. Anyway, we then moved to the main part of the hospital in the roof space, which was rather large, to put it mildly. You'd probably got a tennis court inside there. I think it was originally during other times used as a crematorium storage area, but you had all these signs on the side of walls, etc. One of our we actually installed 2 19-inch rack, one at each end of this building, and we had 2 masts as such, and we ended up with 23 sens repeater, 2.4 gigs repeater, a 10 gigs repeater with a digital output. This is going back quite some time. It's a commercial piece of equipment that we got hold of, which I can't remember the name of. Also on site, we had a 2-meter repeater and a 70 sen repeater. So it was quite a busy site. One of our guys worked for the BBC as a cameraman, and he did this video, which I'll play in just a second or two. And the commentary that was done for it was done by one of the presenters on the South BBC TV network, did it for us, and it was edited up by Peter, who's still working as a cameraman in the Sussex area. So that's enough probably waffle for me, but I'll find this video and let it play through, and we'll see how we go. Right.
High on a building which overlooks Brighton, Hove and a large part of southwest Sussex, there are 2 video repeaters, GB3VR and GB3RV, run by the Worthing Video Repeater Group. So what is a video repeater? Well, put simply, it enables somebody who's transmitting a video and audio signal from their home to reach a greater audience. This is achieved by the repeater receiving their signal and retransmitting or repeating on another frequency. Greater reach is achieved because repeaters are usually sited on tops of hills or very tall buildings. This enables them to transmit signals over a larger area, whereas the initial station transmitting into the repeater could well be in a built-up area or at the bottom of a hill or in a valley, making it very difficult or even impossible for one or more other stations to receive his signal direct. GB3VR is a 23 centimeter or 1.2 gigahertz repeater, and GB3RV is a 3 centimeter or 10 gigahertz repeater. GB3RV receives signals with a horn aerial and a converted satellite LNB fed into a standard satellite receiver. Video and audio signals from the satellite receiver are passed on to a logic control unit. This is based around an Amiga 600 and looks after the automatic running of the repeater so that when signals come in, they are handed on to the transmitter. If there are no signals present, the repeater transmits a series of test cards and every 15 minutes a Morse identification. The video and audio which comes out of the logic control box is then fed into the transmitter, which has an almost identical horn antenna bolted onto it. GB3VR, the 23 centimeter repeater, uses a single quad loop aerial to receive and transmit. That is fed into a splitter. The output of the splitter is fed into a wooden Douglas receiver, then into a logic control box, again controlled by an Amiga. The output of the logic control box feeds a Solent transmitter, which in turn is fed into a power amplifier, increasing the transmitter power. The output of the power amplifier is fed back into the splitter and back to the single aerial. The reason for using a single aerial is not just to save space on site, but as a rule of thumb, if you can receive pictures from the repeater, you can usually send pictures to it. GB3VR has many more functions than GB3RV. There's an on-site weather station from which the data can be displayed over the video repeater, giving you up-to-the-minute wind speed, direction and temperature. There's a remote camera which overlooks the racecourse, and if you're very lucky, you can zoom in to see who's winning the 2:15 at Brighton. There's a slow scan facility on the input, enabling people on 144 megahertz to transmit a still picture that can be displayed on the output of the repeater. Other functions, such as a talking clock,
7, 4, P4,
automatic AGC, and a talkback facility are available. Also, information pages containing data on aerials, recent users of the repeater, and the highs and lows of the past week's weather. To receive signals from the 23 centimeters GB3VR repeater, you require nothing more than an aerial, a satellite receiver, and a monitor or TV. The satellite receiver may require some slight modification, ensuring that the voltage which is normally present at the LNB socket is disabled, and the video level may require turning up. But other than that, it's straightforward. Plug in an aerial, connect the satellite receiver to the monitor, select the right frequency, and hopefully the repeater will appear before your eyes. To receive pictures from the 3 centimeter repeater GB3RV, the same equipment is required, but this time the volts are not removed from the LNB input of the satellite receiver. A modified LNB and the matching horn replace the aerial. The pictures from GB3RV will only be available if you can see the racecourse in Brighton from your home location. This is because the high frequency of this repeater doesn't allow its signals to go through hills, buildings, or heavy foliage. So, if you are unable to see Race Hill, you will probably struggle to receive a picture. But even with so-called line-of-sight limitations, stations some 17 miles away in West Worthing are not only able to see the repeater, but put signals back into it using nothing more than a modulator, a gun diode head producing about 15 milliwatts, and a small horn aerial. The signals from the 23 centimeter repeater GB3VR are not so difficult to receive. Because it's a lower frequency, the signals are able to go through some buildings and over the tops of hills, and as a result, people much further afield are able to view pictures. Bognor, Littlehampton and Chichester are three places in particular at a distance of about 25 to 30 miles from the site, which are normally covered by the transmissions of this repeater. Under certain atmospheric conditions, the repeater can be seen and worked from places as far away as Portsmouth, Southampton and even parts of northern France. So what are you liable to see if you were to tune in to GB3VR, let's say? Well, during the daytime, Monday to Friday, the repeater is a little quiet, most people being at work. So a selection of test cards, weather pages, and of course the occasional user can be seen. But at weekends and in the evenings, the repeater is very much more active. There's Jim from Shoreham, who regularly transmits mini-films he's made of local events.
There we go. Okay.
Computer buffs who like to show off their latest software and websites. A regular number of stations simply pop up for a chat.
So what do you want?
Sometimes live local events, rallies or exhibitions are transmitted just for fun. Live on air.
That looks quite good.
There are no limits to what can be achieved with relatively simple equipment and a little ingenuity. The hobby is great fun and the people are really helpful. If you want to know more, just ask or visit our website at www.videorepeater.co.uk.
Well, I cut it at that point. The video site is no longer there, and apologies I dropped out briefly. My system's on the network, and I seem to be having an intermittent network problem occasionally. I lose the stream to the actual lose the stream to the Pluto. I'm trying to read things as well. Yeah, but 84 there, Mike. We started off in Worthing, and let's go back to the pictures that I never showed properly. Right, that was the original transmitter, which was based on a ZX81 located in Worthing, and as I said, didn't work enormously well, but it got us operational. Then we moved across to, let's change the picture to the next one, to that one. I shouldn't have had just look at the centre picture. I've got the other one in the background, unfortunately. But that's located at the hospital in Brighton, but on the sort of nurses' sort of quarters area. And as I said, to get to that, you had to go a rickety ladder. And that was right alongside the lift motor. So that gives you sort of an idea. Apologies that I didn't get it right. It's not as easy as it looks. That repeater that was at the top of the lift shaft area was run on a cash register, 6805, I think it was, PCB, modified by Jeff G8 DHE. When we moved across to the hospital on the actual main building, it was controlled by Spectrum computer. There was ZX Spectrum, and had the facilities to operate the equivalent of load, quotes, enter. So so as I could upload the new program over the air to update it, because it did crash occasionally. But we also put extra ports on the back as such, so we actually strode between a number of I/O ports on the back to give us the control for the inputs for the weather station, etc., etc., etc. Then we went on, as you saw in the video, to the Amiga, which Robin JXEU wrote. Right, probably everybody's can't sleep now, so it's a long one. I've been on for 15 minutes, so apologies there. So back to you there, Gary, from Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much indeed there, Martin. What we're going to do, we'll bring in Bert, Papa Alpha 3 Alpha Oscar Delta. And Bert, if you can pass it to Zvi in Israel. Zvi to Mike, Golf 0 Mike Juliet Whiskey. Mike to Nick, Golf 4 IMO. And Nick, if you can pass it to Tom, ZR6 Tango Golf. Tom to Leon. And Leon to Frank, DD0CW. If we can run it that way, it will make it a bit quicker. And then we'll, right at the end after Frank, we'll see if Balu's back. So, with that, Bert, will you kindly take it? Papa Alpha 3 Alpha Oscar Delta from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India.
Good morning, evening. Let's put first the sound on my system off. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, good morning, evening, wherever you are on this globe. Yeah, it was a great movie, Martin. Yeah, he said it was somewhere 2000. It looks to me that it was, yeah, maybe 20 years earlier, 15 or 20 years earlier. But anyway, it was an awesome video. Only thing I saw was the Team Gig horn was on the tower, on the mast. It was a little bit shaking. It's, you got some QSB probably on the signal then for the distant stations. But anyway, it was a nice video to see. What I've done the last couple of weeks. Yeah, last weekend there was a contest for SB and CW on the 2 meter and higher. I played a little bit with it, so I was not in. And joining the DATV Net. Started with some new things over here. First, I had to make a tin box using an Weller. It's a big iron, 100 watts. And suddenly there was smoke coming out on the side. And yeah, that's toch scary when you see some smoke out of soldering iron. But it was yeah, maybe, I don't know if you can see it. It was a capacitor. The only thing I can see is Riva on it, and the value is 0.1 microfarad. That one was black totally, and that burned out. Anyway, without the capacitor, the soldering iron works perfectly. But maybe it's some RFI somewhere. But anyway, I have to find out the new capacitor. There seems some special capacitors, XY capacitor or something like that, but I have to look in it then. Yeah, I was busy making some boxes for, yeah, these little things. Let's put the other camera on. That's maybe easier. Let's see. Oh, that's not the correct one. Let's use the slider. Yeah, maybe you can see it. There's a lot of sun over here. The temperature is rather high. It's around 24 degrees centigrade, so that's not nice. Yeah, anyway, not for me. I like more the 20 degrees than the 24 and the bright sun. Busy with the 8-way switch, and also with the other components belonging to it. That's yeah, that's this little one. The ports on 4 PCB. I'm using these kind of connectors, not the original ones used. I like more to use screw than under. Let's see what's this. Oh yeah, and this one has to build up then again. Has to be populated, complete board. That's the decoder, and the rest then put together in the port zone 4. That's the main thing I've done, and yeah, a couple of other things to do maybe. This is for the second port down. It's hard to get a Raspberry Pi 4, but luckily I got one over here in the Netherlands, a small one. That was with the 2 gig version. The 8 gig was impossible to get, but the 2 gig was available, so I bought one. Okay, let's go on to Sweden. That's a whole list. Let's see the other camera. I just got confused with all the cameras over here. Yeah, there's a huge list at the moment. I believe we've never had so many people participating in the DATV net. Okay, the system goes down to Svi. It's a long time I've seen you in the net, Svi. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, 4Z1, ZV, the system from Pop Alpha 3, Alpha Oscar Delta.
Okay, hello everyone. Hello everyone. As you said, long time no see, so I'm happy to be here again. To see Gary, the net controller with a strong signal. By the way, Bert, you also have very strong signal. MER over 10 dB in my stations. Martin, happy birthday to your wife. And to the other Martin, the King of England, was interesting to see some history. And as I promised, I'm going to share with you actually the last event of the Land of the Craters program. As you may remember, we already operated from 3 craters. That was the last one. It's called the Ramon crater. And let's go to the video clip. And at the end, we will show a few diplomas. As you can see, it's a really large area. We had a lot of HF stations and one QO-100. The stations were relatively in the hundreds of meters apart, even more, so we have very little distortion. We could operate on all bands on HF, as well on the QO-100. By the way, this is a leftover. Oh, this is Udi using my portable station. Okay, maybe just to talk about, let me bring up the QRZ.com, where all the information was listed. So we had operation from these 4 craters, the Arif, the large crater, small crater, last but not least the Ramon crater. Some photographs on this area. And then we have the online. My daughter is pushing me. Those are the statistics from those operations. And whoever made contact with us, all you need to do is to go to this website, click his call sign. Let's go for Ed, Papa Alpha to Romeo November. And let's see his performance. Oh, for some reason, something got wrong here. But anyway, he already got a certificate for 4 operations. He made it with all the craters. It looks like that. No, it's not Papa Alpha, Papa Yankee to Romeo November. Here is the story. Okay, so we see his dedication. He made contacts with all 4 craters. And all you need to do, press a push button, and you will get the diploma, the certificate. Actually, already got one since he did 3 craters. Let's check Nina. Delta Lima 2 GRC. I guess she also entitled. She joined us later, so she didn't make the RF crater, but she got the other 3 craters, and we congratulate Nina as well. And I had the pleasure to make the QSOs with all those guys. Okay, having said that, I will pass the microphone and the video, let's see, to Mike. Golf 0, Mike Juliet Whiskey, the microphone.
Thank you, Zvika. Interesting operation there from the craters. I was wondering what you do when it rains with all those outdoor stations, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe that's the solution to that problem. It's raining here, incidentally, and I like the website. If you type my call sign in, you'll discover I'm afraid I failed to work you, so it won't come up with anything. But all interesting, and nice to see the report on the DXpedition. Martin, I do remember the ZX81, and you had me fooled there because I thought this was back in the 80s, but turns out it was in the early 2000s. But a very good video, and well commentated as well. And you got the professional in to give the commentary, and it makes a huge difference when you do that. So congratulations. It was very, very clear. The only thing, and I think Bert pointed it out as well, was that rather shaky horn up on that pole, which may or may not generate a bit of QSB on 10 gigahertz. But yeah, all really interesting. As for Bert's soldering iron, well, that looked like a reefer capacitor, and reefer capacitors are absolutely notorious for failing after many years and making the most awful smell. They're used in a lot of HP equipment, and I might swing the camera around later to show you some of my HP power meters. The 435 or the 432 series, they have those reefer capacitors in, and I came up to the shack one day to discover this terrible smell, and it was a blown reefer capacitor. Take it out, everything still works, but the smell carries on for days and days and days. So if you've got a piece of equipment with a ether capacitor in it, it might well be worth taking it out and replacing it with something else. I think it's moisture or something that gets into them. I'm not exactly sure. Right, anyway, without further ado, let's show some pictures. This is the Polycom webcam that we've been all talking about. And it's looking on my bench. It's my bench camera. And you can see three things there. One is a surplus now 2.4 gigahertz amplifier, which I might build into something or I might not. Then there's a couple of the 70SEMS pallets, which are the next amplifier project. And the big black square thing, which is what I was working on this weekend, is a power supply. I'm going to go and get it. So you can't see it there anymore because it's now here. At least it proves it was a live video. And this was, let's see if it'll focus, an Astron power supply that had blown up. Well, its gubbins, its insides have been replaced by a unit from AliExpress, which produces 24 volts at 7 amps, 12 amps rather. So that's what that is now. And of course the power meter, or the voltage meters and the current meters, were 15 volts and 25 amps respectively. Well, the meters are both identical, so I've swapped them over, and it's now 15 amps and 25 volts, which is ideal for this particular power supply. So there you go. Bit of equipment repurposing. Now, if I grab hold of this thing, which is another of those Eagle Eye webcams, which I'm now calling it WonderCam, a misspelling of WonderCam perhaps, I don't know. It does give quite good video, so let me just transition to it. There you go. You can see it looking at the camera that's looking at me. So this is what I was going to show. Firstly, this is the amplifier for 6 and 4, which is now sitting in position, ready to be used, next to the power supply for a different amplifier, just to confuse you. Over here, you might be able to see some HP power meters, the big square one, that's one of them. But if I go to the Polycom, which is still looking at the bench, and turn it round, hopefully in the right direction. No, that's the wrong direction. It might just about be able to see this thing here. That is one of the HP power meters, and it's the one that produced the terrible smell. But it still works perfectly without the capacitor in it, so you don't need the capacitor at all, which is useful. So we're now on the shaky camera, which is going to give you a terrible, frightening image of me, whilst I try and find the proper camera to go back to, and then you can see things properly, hopefully. Okay, I haven't got much else to add, so I think it's round to Nick, G4IMO. Nice to see you, Nick. I saw you testing earlier on, so let's pass it on to you. G4IMO, G0MJW.
One, two, testing. 1, 2, testing. Ah, it's working. That's good. Right. Yep. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Hello, Mike. Yes. Hello to everybody on the net. It's very hot here at the moment. It's also very humid as well. I did make some notes. Where are we? But can I read them? Oh, yes. I expect everybody else has had trouble with Windows updates. But yesterday I just checked after a Windows update, and I didn't have any audio. My little USB microphone, it decided which goes to OBS, it decided it wasn't going to connect to that anymore. Excuse me. So had to mess around with the settings in OBS yesterday to get all that working. And then once I'd done that, I found the my lip sync was terrible. So I'm hoping it's okay now. I had to make some adjustments there. And it's talking of updates. I noticed on WhatsApp, when I switch on WhatsApp now, there's a message that comes up and says WhatsApp will no longer be supported on my iPhone after the 24th of October. So my phone is now obsolete as far as WhatsApp is concerned, or it will be anyway. Yeah, that's an iPhone 5. So that's a shame, great shame, but I won't be able to use WhatsApp after the 24th of October, which is a bit of a shame. I still have another Raspberry Pi on order. I'm not waiting for it. It's not an urgent thing, but I've had one on order from Farnell CPC since February. So I'm still waiting for that. And the latest from them is that expected delivery January 2023. So it'll be interesting to see if it ever arrives. But we'll see. But I think occasionally there are some on the Pi Hut website, but by the time I find out about it and go on there, they've all been sold. Never mind. Anyway, I haven't been working on a lot, but I have made some event. Let me have a look here. This is a picture, hopefully. This is a picture of my antenna that I'm using at the moment to uplink to the satellite. That's a 1.3 meter with a 4-turn helix. But on the ground there is the metal container that contains the PA. It's painted black at the moment, which is probably not an ideal colour. I ought to paint it white, I think. But I don't know whether you can see on the left-hand side there, I've now put an air vent on there. And there's another picture here, which I will show you, to allow the hot air coming out. There, you can see that on the left-hand side there's a vent. And the end of the metal container I can open, which is where it is at the moment. So there's some airflow coming through it to keep it cool. And where that's open there, I managed to buy some mosquito netting and some magnets. And I cut the mosquito netting the right size, and it's held there with these magnets. So so that to keep out all the flies and things. So I just have to remember to open it up in the morning and and close it last thing at night, just in case it rains. But hopefully that's going to keep the temperature down. I'm up to 35 degrees already, but it is very warm today. It's about 21 degrees here at the moment. We've got a Met Office warning for this evening for thunderstorms. So I need to unplug everything, which reminds me of when I used to work at the airport. The control tower there, which I think was built in the 1950s, but it was certainly there when I was there in the 1980s and 90s. But in the early 90s, there was a massive lightning strike, because on the roof of the control tower was a metal rail used to run all the way around the top, and all the receiving aerials were mounted on the top, and the lightning hit one of these aerials. And the tower had been there all those years, and there was no lightning conductor at all. And all the cables from the aerials fed down into the main equipment room, and where all the receivers and the distribution is, and the tape recorders and things. And it took me 3 months to repair everything. I remember I got called out and I went in there and nothing, absolutely nothing worked. All they had was an ICOM A2, which is a little hand portable transceiver on its own little whip aerial. That's all they had. They didn't even have any phones. None of the phone systems worked. So, yeah, that was a major strike there at the airport. But and shortly after that, they then fitted a lightning conductor. And, of course, they haven't had a lightning strike since. So, of course, that's Murphy's Law, isn't it? Anyway, what else have we got? Yes, as Gary said, it's my my celebration birthday today. I've turned 71. That's terrible, isn't it? Still, how time flies. Oh, and welcome to Zvi. I hope I've pronounced that correctly, in Israel. I went to Israel a few years ago. It was the hottest place on earth that I'd ever visited. It was 47 degrees centigrade, far too hot for me. So, yeah. But anyway, it was an enjoyable holiday we had out there anyway. And I see on the list we have Leon, who's going to give a talk on a radar set. Well, I'm an ex-radar engineer, so I'm looking forward to that. That'll be most interesting. Okay, I think that's... oh, just one thing, Martin. The ZX81, that brought back memories. I had a ZX Spectrum, and I left it down in my shack, which was an outside shed at the time. This is a long time ago now. And I went down to the shack in the morning, and where the Spectrum was, and a little mouse had got in there, and it had eaten all the rubber keys. So that was the end of my ZX Spectrum. Okay, I've got to pass it round to Tom. ZR6TG to take G4IMO.
Hey, thanks there, Nick. G4IMO here from Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf. And happy birthday to you. Hope you're having a great day there. Okay, good day to everybody that's on the frequency today. Good to see everybody. And a nice long net today. Very interesting stuff so far. I've especially enjoyed quite a lot of the videos. From my side, not been busy with too much. I've been playing some more with the Longman client that I showed you guys last week. Had quite a couple of guys testing it and trying it out, and overall seems to be working nicely. So just adding features and stuff like that. Just give a quick overview. Oh, that one. That's the big one. Yeah, just ignore my picture that's going to be jumping there at the back. So, a couple of updates. You'll see the spectrum looks a bit different, a bit more colorful. I wanted to make it a bit more my own. Let's just switch to the beacon here, then it doesn't look so funny. Right, there we go. So yeah, a couple of updates. I been adding a lot more settings in terms of making it a bit more flexible. You can now set how long it needs to take to do the auto tuning or wait between the channels. You can also do snapshots and the time between snapshots. So there we can do just a simple snapshot of whatever channel it's on. You can also turn on auto snapshot. So as it jumps between the channels on auto tune, then it will take all these snapshots, which is pretty cool. And then we've been experimenting with multicast settings. There's a couple of extra settings where you can now set up the multicast host and stuff like that, which means that it makes it a lot easier to connect from multiple clients to the same Raspberry Pi. I've had up to 3-4 clients connecting to it, and it works brilliant. And then a couple of the guys have been testing to see how small they can go with the Pi. We had Martin, G4FKK, who was doing some tests on the Raspberry Pi 1, which seemed to work fine. If not, making it a bit more. It seems the CPU is getting a bit hotter than normal and stuff like that, but it runs fine. And then Benno, Papa Alpha 3FBX, he actually got it going on a Raspberry Pi Zero. So that's a nice little small setup where you've got the mini tuner and the Pi Zero all on the network, and seems to be working well. And then one of the more fun things I've been playing with is, you'll notice on the Spectrum, let's do a bit of a zoom in there. You'll notice on the Spectrum there's apart from it being a bit more colorful, I've also added in that it would automatically show the call signs. So sorry, I was waiting for it to update, but it's not going to update because I'm on the beacon. So as you jump between the different call signs, see if I jump to that one, there it shows the call sign there. It obviously shows, oh, there the signal dropped on that one. There on mine, there's a call sign there. So as it goes through the auto-tuning and that, let's see, as soon as it locks, it gets that call sign. And it will keep the call sign there as long as the signal is up and running. That signal might be a bit too low for me to decode. Yeah, no, that one's not decoding. But yeah, it's a nice way to keep track of what all the different signals are and what's, who's where. And then the other nice thing about that is I was experimenting with, since we're decoding the call signs, is, what can we do with that call sign once it's decoded? And not just about, displaying it on the Spectrum, but also having actions based on it. Now, my first thought was to maybe post to, like a website of some sorts. But that doesn't really mean much. The propagation is less of an issue with using the satellite. So what I tried was, I keep on, everybody's got their regulars that they chat to on the satellite, and I keep on, especially in South Africa, we've only got what, 6, 7 guys on there, so we keep on missing each other. So I experimented a bit with having the Longman client actually posting the call sign to a web service. And as a test last night, I quickly threw this together. Let's go show there. It's a quick Node-RED script that basically, let's see if I can make that bigger. So it basically gets the notification from Longman if a call sign comes in. And then I added in a call sign filter. So I've got a couple of call signs that I threw in there of that would be interest of me, and then I hooked it up to a Telegram sender. So it basically sends it to my Telegram. So for those of you that don't know Telegram, it's essentially WhatsApp, but it looks and works the same, but it's a different app and a different company. Where WhatsApp's green, Telegram is all blue. And so I was tinkering with it last night, and I didn't think much more of it, and I went to bed. And wouldn't you know it, at 2 o'clock this morning, South Africa time, my phone started beeping, and okay, we'll see the messages there. And Martin, G4FKK, which was one of the call signs that I put in, was playing on the satellite, and so yeah. Was a bit of awakening. So it did make me realize that I probably need to add in a sleep mode so that I can switch it off when I go to bed. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing with that on the Longman client. All the updates and everything as per usual, I'm posting it on that website. So if you're interested, want to play with it, all you need is a Raspberry Pi with a mini tuner and just the Windows client. So the upcoming parts of this is, I've got Winter Hill hardware on their way. That should be arriving hopefully tomorrow, but essentially this week. And then I can start adapting the client for Winter Hill itself. And then I'm also working on the Android version. So basically I have a client that you can run on an Android tablet, possibly a phone. We'll do some tests and we'll see how it goes. Okay, and then some comments on the previous ones. Gary, always good to see you there. Thanks for running the net there. Martin, G8KOE. I really loved that video. It was very cool. I love the old school graphics and that. I sometimes feel I missed an era there with the older computers. I've got a Commodore 64 myself here that I like to play with, but I like that old school graphics and that, and the idea of that repeater is very cool. I don't know if anything like that was ever in South Africa. I doubt it. I haven't seen anything. Gary, Leon, we need to put up something similar, maybe more modern in South Africa. But always good to see you. I see, yeah, the PCBs you've been building there with the 8-way switch and all that. I've got a bunch of those on the way as well, part of the BATC order, so I'm looking forward to building that. And sorry to hear about the soldering iron problems. Zvi, yeah, nice to see you there. That video was very nice. Love a beautiful area there. What did you ask there? You think it could send images to Android device over the internet? Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's locking onto the signal to get the call sign, and it does have the snapshots. So in theory, it could take a snapshot, send that to the Node-RED setup, and send that over the Telegram message. So you'll have the image and the call sign. You'll only need to, obviously, it needs to stay on that signal a bit longer to actually get the video once it's decoding and that. Whereas with the call sign, I don't need to stay as long on the signal. The call sign is one of the first things it decodes, then it can jump on. But yeah, no, definitely possible. Okay, that was a long one for me. I'm gonna give it over there to Leon. Let's see what he's been playing with. His
Okay, I don't know what's happened there with Tom. Yeah, it sounds like his buffer ran over or something, whatever. Okay, this is ZS1 Moon Mechanic saying a very good morning, afternoon and evening to whoever is watching and all the gentlemen online. Okay, Gary opened up, Balu didn't come up, Martin, G4FKK has entered. So yeah, TV has never been, well, anything technical really hasn't been very popular in South Africa. Okay, Bert, Yes, that cap, yeah, that's just a suppression cap. You can replace it with anything that's got at least a 250 volt AC rating. But if you don't care about the neighbors listening on medium wave, don't worry. The soldering iron will carry on working. Zvi, yeah, we haven't seen you for some time, and it's very nice. Nice video there. Gee whiz, you guys really go to town when you have a setup, an outdoor business with the creators. It's lovely, very, very nice, and a nice presentation. Okay, Mike. Yes, nice camera thingy there. I'm amazed at those little cameras. And your HP. Yes, I actually replaced one of those on a spectrum analyzer during this week. Also, you know, I switched it on. It's normally, I think you're right, it's moisture. Because when you have a piece of equipment that you haven't used for maybe a year or so, it's been standing off, and you power it up, then those things go. So yeah, and it's got like a toffee smell almost. I just cut that one out and chucked it in the bin. But as you say, to get rid of the fumes which deposited on the rest of the equipment, it takes many hours of operation to sort of wash that away with fresh air. Okay, Nick, happy birthday to you. And yeah, nice vent that you've got on your amp there. And you have excellent audio, eh? That little microphone of yours is really, your audio is lovely, and also your video is really crisp today. I've watched you on the BATC net. I don't go in there because it's a very structured business. But yeah, very nice presentation there, Nick. Okay, and Tom, yeah, I've heard all about your fancy software, and you know, it was really buzzing on the net here. And okay, you must also pay attention, please. Right, my topic for today. I love radars. It's also part of my trade is radar. I'm radar and radio for aviation. But so I've got a number of radar sets here, small ones and big ones. And then some time ago, I bought a really nice big one from the workplace. And they assured me that the transceiver is fine, the RF section is fine. And I fired it up, and yeah, I had to make a couple of jumps and things to get it to go. But the transmitter is fine, the receiver is fine, the scanner works, everything. But the display processor, too many people have had their fingers in there. Fortunately, I actually have 3 sets of manuals for this thing. It's made in Great Britain. It's a Kelvin Hughes radar. And it's quite a fancy one. It's got ARPA and everything. It has 5 in the processor unit. It has 5 of these PC boards. 5 these. It's hundreds of ICs. This board alone has 3 microprocessors on it. And I have now, I'm not a digital guy. I've now been tracing with a scope in this thing, and I've discovered that it's got 2 buses running on this board alone. And the one bus, which is run by, where's my hand? Oh, there's a heck of a delay. Let me just get my picture on the OBS so it's real time. There you have 8088 processor and a 8087 co-processor. There's another processor here somewhere. Anyway, that bus is running. But there's the peripheral bus, as they say, that's not running. It sits some high, some low, and quite a number of the bits are like hovering in between, like sitting at 2 volts or so. No active data on it whatsoever. So I think that's the problem. But now, there's a lot of chips in parallel hooked onto that bus. Now, I had my second camera set up. on the circuit diagram, but it's not coming on now, so I don't know what's happened. It just goes black. So I think I switched it on too late. I know OBS wants all your cameras to be active. I'll just get the thing here and see if we can get it going here. Because I have a question for you people. Right. If the thing will focus, if you look here, I get data up to there. This is the bus that's not working. I've got activity into that chip, from that chip. Then it goes through another buffering chip or something. Input I get data, output I get data, and then it goes to where they draw the bus. Where's my pen? Oh man, it's back to front. Okay, there they've got little black blobs. That's where the bus goes off, and it goes there and down there, and then to lots of other chips that use the same. I think it's 8 bits. Yeah, they use the same bits. That now I don't understand it, because there I get data, but just on the other side there I don't get data. You know, on the input of that chip there's no data, it's hanging, but at the output of this chip I get data. There's nothing in between. It's just straight lines. I don't know what those dots where they parallel the bus off. I don't know. So maybe you guys can give me some ideas what to look for. Okay, that's it from me with my radar problems. It's transmitting nicely, and I can see the receiver is working. If we put a scope on the video, it's working. It sends out the sync pulses. No, Kitty. Not here now. No, hang on a bit. So if I can't get this fancy processor going, I'll just use one of my small Furuno processors, which they do work. Doesn't have all the fancy features of this, and it doesn't have ARPA and any of those things. So, Kitty, stay down. Okay. I give it to Frank, DD Noit CW, for the group from ZS1 Mike.
Surprise, Leon. It's not Frank, it's me. Just got a message from Gary saying that Frank went QRT. Very nice. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody from PY2RN with São Paulo skyline on the back. I see my audio is too high, but apologize for that. And I will not I will not fix that right now. But yeah, I can fix that. No problem. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Excellent net today. Long net, so try to be short here. Hello, Gary. Thanks again for the coordination. Martin, Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo, thank you for the documentary, very interesting information and video about the ATV repeaters, and they're in the UK. Bert with the assemblies, always very nice. And SV, that's great that I could make a QSO with the last crater yesterday. I do have all the craters worked, and that was a long journey. That was a long journey. You know, the first QSO I think was on was on first QSO was on 2020, in November 2020, and the last QSO was yesterday with 4X0 radio mic November. So thank you very much for the diploma, very nice one, and glad to work you guys, excellent, very nice. And Mike, hopefully I'm gonna join the those Polycon cameras. I just got this one. Not sure if this is the same from you guys, but actually I got a very good price because at that time the guy was accepting offers, and I even offer lower than that, and he accepted that. I paid like $28 US dollars for the camera with free shipping. So I see it's 1080p camera, so not sure if it's the same from you guys, but I think it will work, hopefully. All right. I wish happy birthday to Nick. Go for India Mike Oscar. I also got affected by the Windows update. I had to remap my microphone on the OBS because it changed it to another input. I don't know why, but every time that Windows update happens, something happens with OBS, and I have to correct that, unfortunately. Tom, congratulations, your excellent software, very helpful. I didn't use it, but I just informed a friend of mine, Papa Uniforme 2 Radio Quebec Victor. He has his mini tuner about 1 kilometer far from his shack, and he also plays a lot with Raspberry Pi, so it's going to be very, very useful for him to establish a remote DATV reception using your software, which is excellent. Thank you very much for that development, Tom. And Leon, regular, yeah, sorry, cannot. Actually, Leo, you're out of sync, limp sync, and you're too dark, man. And I don't know, when you show the diagram, I'm not sure what. I mean, could not see much details on that, but it seems that the signal comes out from the IC, but doesn't flow to the other side. I don't know. Maybe it's could be a track issue. Maybe if you just put a wire jumper on that. I don't know. That's the suggestion for the very few I could see. All right, other than that, appreciate taking part of the net today. Very nice to see you all, guys, and too bad that Frank DD0CW could not join. I'm gonna pass them to Martin, go for Fox Kilo Kilo if he's able to start transmission, and then please, Martin, just pass to Balu. If he's still there, because I understand it's a little late for India, but hopefully Balu can join VU2 Radio Tango Fox. So to you, Martin, go for Fox Kilo Kilo 73 from Papa Yankee 2 Romeo November.
Yeah, fine, Ed. Thank you very much. And I'm sorry I'm late on parade. Some people know my wife has a significant birthday this year, and we appear to be celebrating it for weeks on end. Her birthday's actually not till next weekend, well, next Monday, and now she's having a big tea party with all loads of friends and family and stuff, but only ladies, not me. So I'm able to get back, but I'm in charge of the cab, as it were. So I did miss the first few overs. Apologies for that. I did see the end of your overs, V. Great to see you back on the net, and those crater operations as Leon was saying, you've gone to town on those. Mike, I'm sure I heard you saying that you went up to the shack and it smelt of reefers. Then I realised you meant the reefer capacitors, so I calmed down a bit. That front panel on your power supply, I'm assuming you did that on your new tiny CNC machine, but it looks absolutely fantastic. Really good job you've done on that. Nick, I'm surprised it's hot in Wisbeach, and happy birthday, by the way. I'm glad you're not making quite such a fuss of it as my wife is with hers, because it's actually raining here. It started pouring down just as I was loading the car up with cakes and balloons and ladies. So it was all very dramatic. And yeah, I've got a similar pie. I put my pie order into CPC at about December, I think, Nick, and I'm getting the same emails as you from CPC. And your dish installation is very, very neat. I must do something similar here one day. Yeah, and Tom, apologies for disturbing your sleep. I've actually got your client running up in the top here. Let's just make it look a bit more clientish. Up that way. That's it. It's really good. It's a really nice piece of software now, Tom. I haven't tried the multicasting again yet, but I might do that. I might try a different range of multicast addresses. I've got a vague memory that helped once when I was struggling with multicasting. And yeah, your signal froze towards the end of your over, and like Mike, I had to restart VLC here on Winter Hill and on your client, in fact, to bring it back. It makes a funny digital buzzing noise and then stops. I have seen that happening to other people in days gone by. Leon, that board is beautiful. I know you're not a digital person, but it looks, and neither am I, but it looks great, that board. I'm just wondering where they've got the blobs joining the bus, where it's going straight across. Maybe in the blobs there's a diode or something, and the other side of the bus is pulling it down. No, that still wouldn't work, would it? But maybe just checking the continuity from that left-hand chip to the right-hand chip. But I'm sure you've already done that. So that's a weird one. It's one for Mike, I think. And I wonder if it's lunchtime for your cat. He or she seemed very insistent on getting your attention. Oh, yeah, and as Ed was saying, your lip sync is shot. And I'm guessing you probably did the Windows update. I did that, and it put my lip sync miles out. It probably still is, actually. I think it's better now because I just reset all the time syncing to 0 on OBS and put the frame buffer back down to 3. I had mine at 15, and it looked yesterday when I was testing it like it was perfect. So maybe it's a good thing in disguise. And Ed, yeah, you turned the audio down a bit low. I thought it was fine already, to be honest. So there you go. I just wanted to say a quick hello to Nigel, 2E0 Echo Hotel, who you might remember used to join the net now and again. He's not been on for a long time. And I sent him a text yesterday saying, well, where are you? So he is watching, but only intermittently. I think he's got some issues with the setup, and he's unable to transmit at the moment. So there we go. So the only thing I've been doing is beta testing Tom's client, and very, very pleased with it, Tom. It's actually a really useful adjunct to all the other gadgets I've got floating around on the network here. Right, so I'll put it round to you, Balu, if you're there. And I guess if you're not, it's probably round to Gary, but be nice to see you. So, Balu, Victor Uniform 2, Radio Tango Foxtrot, isn't it? Do you know, I can't remember. Yeah, sure it is. VU2RTF G4 Fox Kilo Kilo standing by.
Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, my friends. Golf 4 Fox Kilo Kilo Martin, thank you for passing the over to me. Nice to catch up with you all. In the first over, I have some issues. I could not transmit. I think I am okay now. So nice to meet you all in this net today. And Martin, Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo, that repeater video is very nice. Hi Bert. Zivi, seeing you after a long time, and the video on the D expedition is excellent. And Golf 0 Mike, Juliet Whiskey Mike, your polycam and your SAC setup is very neat. And happy birthday to Nick, Golf 4 India Mike Oscar. Tom, your software experiments are going very well. It seems Martin has used it. All the best. And good evening, Leon. Your radar issue in the display area, I think you will start it soon. See, today I am going to just show you a short film on the memorial drive on November 2021 in the Himalayan rally route, which I think you will all enjoy. I will show the video now.
Beings overcome their emotions, most of us mortals are moved by the vision of the mountain. But once every lifetime, history comes face to face with spirited individuals that are driven by the desire to move mountains. None truer than the legend of the man we celebrate today. Move mountains he did, and not just any mountain. He endeavored to move the mother of all mountains, the Himalayas. He carved the silhouette of the peaks and the curves of the valleys into the history of Indian motorsports with indelible tire marks. That, as we know him, is Nasir Hussain. In a fitting tribute, the Nasir Hussain Memorial Drive will retrace the route to the 1981 Himalayan Rally, a full field of 100 cars, which include former Himalayan rally champions, their competitors in the rally, and motorsports enthusiasts, we'll set off on a deja vu experience of the Himalayan rally.
This is our car in which we travel. Myself and other two friends were there in the car, and two more cars from our office participated in that. So that is the drive. Just for a change, I have shown you this video, even though it is taken in November 2021. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and I will pass you over to Zulu Sierra 1 Yankee India Gary. If you are there, please take it up. VU2 Romeo Tango Foxtrot 73 is to all of you.
Okay, Balu, that was very, very interesting. VU2RTF ZS6YI. Yeah, some nice scenery there. I was just amazed at the slow speed though, 25 kilometers an hour. In South Africa, we used to rallies like 150 kilos an hour at certain stages, but it was very, very interesting indeed. And thank you for that. Yeah, you won't believe this, we've got a lightning storm here, a thunderstorm really. So I'm going to try and close stations so that I can unplug things. I've been on tenterhooks for the last half an hour or so. But I want to thank everyone indeed for coming up on frequency. And I hope Leon can get some answers on his board. Martin, once again, hi to Anne, and we will wish you a happy birthday next week, of course, or next Monday a week. And yeah, Martin, G8KOE, that was a nice video clip on the repeater stations. It's something to enjoy because we don't have that in South Africa. Our distances are too far, and the population that would be interested in something like that's too little. So we got a problem. I just want to turn that audio down. All right, Bert, yeah, nice as per usual, interesting from your side, and thank you very much. And Zvi, yeah, you guys go through a lot of trouble to get things going. A good amateur spirit. Saw you on this morning. In fact, you came over us. We were calling you, and then boom, you came on. So we let you do your test. I don't suppose you had a internet view there of the signals on, but not to worry. We realized you were testing, and then. Yeah, Mike, as per usual, you make beautiful looking equipment, and yeah, that power supply looks great. And also those cameras are working very well. I've got some, and I can tell you they work very well indeed. So Ed, you can look forward to it. I got a tip from Martin, G4FKK. You use your OBS, and you go into that setting on the camera itself, and you can zoom in, and you can pan and tilt a little bit, do lots of little things. Really a nice camera. So I think it was well worth it. I think, what did we pay? £16 or something. But anyway, it was well worth it. Nick, once again, all the best to you for your birthday, and a nice signal from your side and a nice station. Tom, yeah, no, that software is really looking professional now, and so we look forward to when it becomes available on Android for sure. And Leon, yeah, I hope you sort that board out. Ek dink jy sal, I think you will, because I've seen your other radar station working beautifully. Maybe next week you can show us what it looks like. Frank unfortunately had to go QRT, but Frank, thank you for popping in and also stirring up some interest from Germany. And hopefully we will see some German stations on in due course. With that, guys, I'm going to close the net. What's the time? Already 14:38 our time, because I'd like to get the station closed. This lightning thunder hasn't been too shall we say, easy on the nerves this side. So, Martin, let me just think. You had it originally, but then you ran away. I wonder if we can, if you guys want to run through the net again, that'll be fine. But I will close the net at this point and just throw it in the air, and I'll also close the streaming. So with that, I'll pass it to Martin, G8KOE, if you're still there. If not, Bert, and then Zvi, and then Mike, and then Nick. If you guys want to continue with that roster, that'll be fine, but I will have to bow out. I'm already on borrowed time with this lightning. Crazy for this time of the year. G8KOE possibly, if not PA3AOD, ZS6YI Wishing everyone on frequency a very happy week. See you next week.
I'm still here. No lightning here, just rain. Let's make sure the audio's coming through. I think it. Right, let's kill that. Yeah, what can I talk about? I know. Yeah, the transmitters we used to use going back in those days were things built. That's my old original one, which was designed by. Some boards that I had earlier, not quite to Mike's quality, but right. Let's see which camera we were looking at. That's the back. That's the front. They look like we used to do a kit. The transmitter was originally designed by GHCMQ in 1984. I've got a picture of what the beastie used to look like. It's a free-running 23-cell oscillator into driver stages. Then the original output device was a BLV91. This is not a BLV91 because we kept changing it. It was constantly on the change. But that was what else can I show you? Also, we produced a little board which can't focus in. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get the other camera. That used to sit on top of where the free-running oscillator was. Feed the diode there, the vector diode, and lock it up to a crystal, so you can have 3 channels switchable. I say 3. No, it's only 2. I think. Is it 2 or is it 3? No, 2 on there. You could have 2 channels locked up, and then the free-running VFO. The other thing that I did find a picture of was when the Amiga died, and I could have done with somebody that was computer capable, which there wasn't anybody around at the time. So myself being a non-computer person, produced what I call a bodge in a box, and this is it. That was the stand-in logic. It must have worked for 5, 6 years possibly. Bit of variable with loads of relays on. Sync detector on the left-hand side. A test card generator, second board in from the right-hand side at the top there, and next to where all the relays are is a little test card generator. I think there's an audio amp on the right, and somewhere there, which I can't remember which one it was a timer out of a smoke machine. I needed a timer, and working for a company that did sound and lighting, etc., there was an old smoke machine sitting around, so I nicked its timer. We also had a voice ident, which was produced by a professional bit of kit, 19-inch rack stuff, which was recorded, and the voiceover was done the same as on the video that you saw. But that's enough of my bodge in a box logic, which was done in a hurry, but carried on working. Nobody to DTMF and change all sorts of things. Worked surprisingly well. I'm a big believer in relays. Right, that's I think enough waffle for me. I think this is the first time I've sort of been on this particular net, and thanks for Gary for inviting me, and all been very interesting. And I'll pass it on to it's Bert, isn't it? I think PA3 Alpha Oscar Delta to take it. That's 730 all from Golf 8 Kilo Oscar Echo.
Okay, thanks Martin. Yeah, there's a lot of wiring on the Vero board. Yeah, I like also the old stuff. I'm still using FM ATV on UHF and SF and higher frequencies. So yeah, and it's much easier than all the digital one. Digital one, DATV has a lot of computer work, and the old-fashioned FM is much easier. Yeah, there was a lot to talk about, but let's see, it's 4:45 already. Yeah, what about that schematic, Leon? It's very hard to say what's going wrong in that schematic. I don't, if I saw it correctly, there was an LS244, that's an 8-bits driver, or an 8-bus driver. But yeah, for the rest, it was difficult to see what it is. But if the output of the driver is correctly, and the input of the other chip is not correct, yeah, I would say that there's some problem with some tracks, but yeah, it's hard to say when you not see the complete schematic diagram. I would say everybody have a nice week. Probably see you next week, and I hope Gary will send some rain over here to the Netherlands, because it's already weeks dry over here in the northern part anyway of the Netherlands, so we need some rain. Yeah, the microphone system goes to sweep. Yeah, 4 set 1 set T for the whole group. Have a nice weekend, everybody, from PA3AOD.
Okay, I didn't get any sound from Nigel. I didn't get any sound from Nigel. Not sure what happened there.